This is Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. I'm Frank Morano. Now, we've temporarily been rebranded as Stop the Steal TV. So my buddy Mike Wolf, who's another titan of finance, he and I were watching Liquid Lunch the other day, and John saying, "Stop the steal, stop the steal, stop the steal." He's got the big sign in the background. And Mike Wolf asks, well, did John trademark that? I said, I don't think so. And I text John right away. He said, no, he didn't trademark it. And so Mike basically said, well, this all happened on my couch. Mike basically said, well, I'm going to have a trademark attorney no need for ice there, Mike. Just need is fine. I'm going to have a trademark attorney trademark this for John, and maybe he cuts him in for an eighth or something. And now I think it's a great idea, because I was over here for the fight last Saturday, the Tyson Jones disappointment, 16 minutes of old men hugging, and I learned from John Tobacco, of all people, that apparently Michael Buffer is worth about $600 million, and it's all from trademarking that phrase, "Let's get ready to rumble." So if people start using this phrase, "Stop the steal," then maybe John will be worth $600 million, although it doesn't look like he's hurting for cash from what I can tell. So anyway, I'm on a group text with Mike Wolf, John Tobacco, and Mike Wolf's attorney earlier today. I'm not sure how I ended up on this group text, but Mike sends this group text out and says, the purpose of this meeting is to discuss trademarking Stop the Steal. But he says Stop the Steal, S-T-E-E-L. No, two E's. S-T-E-E-L, not S-T-E-A-L, like the sign behind me says. So John says, no, it's not Stop the Steal, it's Stop the Steal with an A. Thank you, Mike, I appreciate it. Wow, that's a very generous pour. I'm going to be in no shape for my, my 2 o'clock lunch meeting, that's for sure. All right. That's a meeting I'm not really looking forward to anyway. This is a bullet. You gave me bullet here? Great, thank you, Mike. So I am filling in for John here. I mean, I have a reputation to protect now, or he has a reputation to protect. So anyway, long story short, I say to Mike Wolf and his attorney, why don't you trademark both Stop the Steal and Stop the Steal, S-T-E-E-L. This way, in case John Tobacco decides to go into the copper business or the plastic business, he can use that phrase, "Stop the Steal," to be anti-steal. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But here's a little, you watch Biz TV because you want the inside dope on investing, right? Let me give you a little tip. So that meeting between Mike Wolf, his attorney, and John Tobacco is not going to take place until about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So if you want to kind of one-up John and Mike Wolf and his attorney, you could trademark Stop the Steal now and make a mint. That, my friends, is the best investment advice you will ever get. Now, I know one of the mics wants to talk about Georgia, but we will get to Georgia because there was some interesting news out of Georgia. But the bottom line is, and look, I'm the biggest Trump supporter there is, not only in terms of girth, but in terms of enthusiasm. He's not going to be able to throw out the results of this election. We're going to bring you all the latest news, and we're going to talk about it with Michael Johns. But Joe Biden's going to be president on January 20th, for better or worse, unless something happens to Joe Biden, which is possible. At the rate that he's pulling dogs' tails and breaking his foot, something may happen. Did you hear about that? In this interview with Jake Tapper, he said that's how he broke his foot. He pulled his dog's tail and then tripped on a rug coming out of a shower. Now, I ask you, do you really want a president that pulls a dog's tail? In fairness, people don't really know if Joe Biden knew if it was a dog or not. I mean, let's be fair to Joe. But at the rate that he's going, he may make William McKinley's presidency look like, William Henry Harrison's presidency look like FDR's presidency. Now, I do want to comment on Willard Mitt Romney. Now, I'm very proud never to have voted for Willard Mitt Romney. How many of you can say the same thing? And certainly you people in Utah can't, because after being soundly rejected by the people of this country twice, after being unable to secure a second term as governor of Massachusetts, after being unable to get elected to the U.S. Senate from Massachusetts, he has about 5 states that he calls home. Mitt Romney: California, Michigan, Massachusetts, and Utah, and I think there's one other. He finally found a state, because of the Mormon population, that would elect him to something, and he finds Utah. By the way, it says a lot about the people of Utah, and no disrespect, I know Patrick Byrne lives out there, and we're all very pro-Patrick Byrne, but the fact that you would elect Mitt Romney to anything, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves, people. So Mitt Romney, who never misses an opportunity to grandstand, he gave a statement either today or yesterday in which he said that Donald Trump's leadership during the coronavirus has been, quote, a great human tragedy. A great human tragedy. A great human tragedy, Willard Mitt Romney, is you keeping your dog Seamus on the top of your car as you're driving miles down the highway. And pretty disgusting stuff happening while that dog was up there. The poor dog, imagine how frightened he was. Willard Mitt Romney's going 55, 60 miles per hour down the highway. This dog, Seamus, is up there frightened. So anyway, you want to talk about leadership during the coronavirus? Let's talk about stopping travel from China, which the president was heavily criticized for. Let's talk about invoking the Insurrection Act to totally mobilize both the private sector and the public sector. Let's talk about Operation Warp Speed, in which we've seen three vaccines developed in record time, 10 months. This is almost like a superhuman achievement. Let's talk about the fact that the president used the bully pulpit of his office to say, yes, kids should be back in school, and now everybody is pretty much acknowledging, except the mayor of Los Angeles, I think, that kids should be back in school and it's safe for kids to be back in school. The president was the first one to say that. Let's talk about the fact that even in the midst of a pandemic, which caused a recession and led to crippling job losses, we still have a stock market over 30,000. I mean, Willard Mitt Romney, I'm not going to say President Trump did every single thing right, but to call his leadership a great human tragedy. Your vote on impeachment was a great human tragedy. Your lack of leadership in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, where you brought the world Romney Care, and then President Obama gave us national Romney Care, that was a great human tragedy. Now, I don't know how anybody votes for Mitt Romney or takes him seriously, but it's clear to me that Willard Mitt Romney is angling for a Republican presidential candidacy in 2024. And I just hope that those same Republicans that were dumb enough to nominate this guy in 2012, and the many Republicans that nominated him, or that voted to nominate him in 2008, aren't fooled again in 2024. And I hope, instead of Willard Mitt Romney, you give an opportunity to Donald Trump. Because I think when you look at integrity, and when you look at leadership, and when you look at results, Donald Trump's record speaks for itself, and Willard Mitt Romney's record speaks for itself. Michael Johns will join me next. We'll talk about whether or not Donald Trump may actually have a shot at winning this election, and what the Republican Party may look like after Donald Trump. This is Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. I'm Frank Morano, sitting in until 1 p.m. Eastern for the great John A. Tobacco II. We'll be right back.